Chapter 271. Alex went to Blaziken and patted her shoulder as he proudly said, "Good job." Blaziken looked at Alex and replied, "Not really. I've had tougher fights." Alex suddenly felt that he had already experienced this exact situation and he tried to remember where he had already heard these words. After a few seconds, he remembered that Scizor had used exactly the same words after his victory against the two Pokémon from Brock. Alex gave a small smile when he said, "I have to admit, as long as you use Scizor's good qualities, he's not a bad role model." Blaziken wanted to contradict Alex's argument and say that Scizor has only good qualities but remembers how often Scizor and Crobat argue and have to agree with her father on this point. Erica, who had healed her Pokémon, went to Alex and handed him an A-rank rainbow badge with a gentle smile. Alex and Erica shook hands when a staff member announced that the TV broadcast was over. Erica showed a slightly relieved expression when she said, "I hope I haven't embarrassed myself too much and that my fans are not disappointed with my performance." Alex showed a smile. "Most trainers understand that this fight was extremely unfavorable for you and that you don't use a Pokémon that you train with often, so I wouldn't worry about your performance." Erica smiled softly when she said, "You are very nice, but I know that my performance in this fight was really bad. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed with myself." Alex could understand what Erica was feeling right now. It might help you to watch the fight again later and think about whether you could do something better. So you can really see whether you really had a bad performance at this fight or not. Erica looked at Alex with a smile and said, "You are really an interesting person." Alex had a confused expression. "Huh, why are you saying that?" Erica gave a big smile as she said, "A normal person would normally react differently when they see that a person is a little sad, or at least most of the people I know. I'm not saying that your behavior is bad, just that you are a special kind of person." Quote. Alex looked at Erica and said curiously, "How would a normal person react?" He thought he knew how most people would react to such a situation, but he wanted to make sure his assumption was correct. Erica started to laugh softly. "Hee, that's a good question, but I don't think that's really important." She gave a gentle expression as she said, "You are you, and you are a great person as far as I can see." Alex smiled as he said nothing and thought inwardly, "I hope for her that her eyes for boyfriends are better than those who judge a person's morals." Erica and Alex were talking as a blonde woman who was similar to Erica's age came before Alex. Alex saw how a trainee of Erica appears next to him and he looked away from Erica and began to look at the blonde woman who was looking at him. The blonde woman looked at Alex and said, "Hello, I know it's a bit rude but I want to challenge you to a 1vs1 fight." Erica looked at the blonde woman and said, "Amelia, please don't make any trouble for the challenger just because you are dissatisfied with my performance." Amelia's eyes softened when she looked at Erica, but she still said with a firm tone, "Erica, please forgive me if I overstep my limits, but I do this for the whole gym. I also hope to be able to show the world that we are not weak." Alex looked at Amelia and said with a smile, "I can understand why you are doing this, but it would be better if Erica challenges me with her strongest Pokémon if you want to show the power of the gym." Erica heard Alex's words and said in a serious tone, "No, we won't do that. A fight like that doesn't make sense and that wouldn't prove anything." Alex knew that Erica was right, but he wanted to offer it to her so that she could look good in front of her fans. Apart from the fact that he was interested in seeing a Pokémon from Erica's main team. Amelia, who heard the serious tone of Erica, shows an expression of remorse. "I'm sorry, Erica, I didn't mean to." Erica saw Amelia almost start crying and said softly, "It's okay. I understand why you wanted to do that. You worried how people will think of me when they see how I lost so easily today." After a pause she started to smile when she looked into Erica's eyes. "Don't worry, I can take a bit of criticism." Alex, who saw this heartwarming moment, suddenly felt that he was very unsuitable here. Fortunately, neither of them ignored Alex and started to talk a little with each other. In the end, it was decided that Amelia can fight Alex but that it will not be broadcast and is just a friendship fight. Erica warned Alex that Amelia is the second strongest in her gym after her and that he shouldn't send a Pokémon below level 49 if he wants to have a good chance of winning. Alex, who heard this, felt that Amelia should be really strong for her age. She is only a few years older than Alex but already has Pokémon that is a higher level than him and almost at the same level as Brock. Although she told him that she only has 2 elite level Pokemon, both Pokemon are mid-elite level, so they shouldn't be underestimated. Fortunately, this wasn't an official match, or Alex had to call his Pokemon at the same time, which would make it impossible to choose the perfect Pokemon against Victreebel. Amelia knew that Alex's Pokemon all have a level disadvantage and therefore offered to show her Pokemon first to give Alex an advantage so that the fight is fairer. Pokemon. Victreebel. LV. 51. Type. Grass Poison. Abilities. Chlorophyll. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Vine Whip. Growth. Wrap. Acid. Sleep Powder. Poison Powder. Stun Spore. Razor Leaf. Poison Jab. Innate Talent Toxic M. Innate Talent Solar Beam E. Innate Talent Mega Drain E. TM Protect. TM Sunny Day E. TM Reflect. TM Venoshock E. TM Sludge Bomb. TM Grass Knot. TM Sludge Bomb. TM Facade. TM Swords Dance. TM Substitute. Alex looked serious as he considered what the best option would be. Crobat, who is immune to her master rank move, should be a perfect choice. It is not impossible to poison a poison-type Pokemon, but fortunately, this can only happen with a very large difference in strength, which fortunately is not the case in this fight. Together with all the other factors, Crobat should have the best chance even if the level difference is a bit big. Single quote. Level 47 against level 51 is no small difference, and this fight should be very difficult to win even if the master rank move is useless. Chapter 172. Victreebel and Crobat ended their fight, and in the end, Crobat was just barely able to secure victory. In the end, Victreebel couldn't use her expert rank or master rank move effectively, which even the level advantage couldn't compensate for. Together with Alex, who uses his popular hit and run tactics against Victreebel, who mostly uses normal rank effective moves. Even with Sunny Day the Victreebel allowed to move faster, she couldn't use the speed she had gained. To Alex's surprise, this fight wasn't completely free despite the huge advantage. Victreebel quickly changed her strategy and used a Swords Dance plus Facade while tanking Crobat's attacks surprisingly well. He didn't think the Crobat's Fly move would do so little damage despite that it was a stab bonus and that it was on the expert rank, but he must admit that he underestimated the big difference between a level 47 and a level 51 Pokemon. This level 51 Victreebel was trained by a trainer and was, according to Alex's opinion, hardly comparable to the wild Pokemon with the same level that Alex met on the mountain chain. In the end, Crobat won, but not without losing almost 50% of his HP, even though he used a hit and run tactic. Alex and Erica talk a little longer and even exchange contacts. Everything went so well that Alex felt that his experience of Brock's gym and Erica's gym couldn't be more different. Having a gym leader as a friend is not particularly important for Alex, but it is definitely good to have, even if his friendship with Erica is not very deep. When Alex left the gym, he looked at his TRH device and saw how he had received a message from Maria. Less than stop flirting with the bitch and call me you disgraceful bastard greater than. Wow, someone is in a good mood, thought Alex with a smile. Although the message from Maria called him a disgraceful bastard, Alex knew that Maria wasn't really angry and didn't take it seriously. He understood well that Maria uses that as a half joke and plainly because she likes the word bastard, even if Alex didn't know exactly why. Alex himself is a person who often uses sarcasm or exaggeration with Maria so that he understands when what is serious and when not. He called Maria and she took his call almost immediately. What do you want, woman? Quote. Alex, how can you be so shameless? What are you talking about? You are a woman as far as I know. And you become one if you continue to annoy me. Ha, joke's on you. That is a bigger problem for you than for me. Wait, that sounds weird even if that is only a joke. Take a deep breath. You are lucky that you are so good at sex, sir. Stop, Maria, you make me all red. But, Maria took a deep breath and got ready for Alex's bad joke. Quote. But what? Unfortunately I didn't record that, so can you please say it again with a believable voice? Why do you want something like that anyhow? Maria, how did you know that I didn't mean that as a joke? I already know you well enough to know when you mean something. Although I don't know why you want to keep something like that. Oh, I wanted to send it to Steven and then make fun of him. Quote. I love it when you act like a bastard. Alex rolled his eyes and said silently, yeah, but apparently not when it affects you. Maria, who heard that, said with an ice-cold tone, did you say something, bastard? Alex wasn't scared. What if I? Maria's tone got colder when she said, oh, then someone doesn't want to know what a great thing their girlfriend bought for them, or am I wrong? For Pokemon. Yup, and one thing that would be very, very useful to you. Alex didn't say anything and thought for a second. My beautiful darling, I think your boyfriend will appreciate your gift so. Maria interrupted Alex directly in a cold tone, you know what I want to hear. I do that thing that you like so much, tonight. For 1 week. 0.5 days. Okay, because I'm such a good girlfriend, I'm happy with 8 days. Alex found it both funny and irritating as he thought, what a bitch. Quote. Maria, yes, do you have a problem? Quote. Quote. Alex didn't really have a problem doing that thing for 8 days, but he doesn't want to give in so easily. If she knows it's not a big deal for Alex, he can't play it to advantage like now. Alex smiled but said in a serious voice, okay. Good boy. Alex's good mood immediately got worse when he heard this. Maria, did Lisa tell you how I would react to these words? Smart boy. Quote. Quote. Say that again and our deal is over. Maria heard Alex's serious tone suppress it further to tease Alex. It wasn't worth it. Quote. Alex, you look particularly good today. Alex looked at his TRH device that only showed the number from Maria and thought wordlessly, you don't even try anymore, do you? Single quote. I hope this is a good gift. Come to our training room and you will see. I am waiting for you. Alex and Maria both hung up and Alex walked over to Team Rocket Base at Pewter City with a smile. He was simply teleported to Pewter City with Gardevoir and then he changed his face with the help of Ditto. Alex entered with Crobat, who followed him to Maria's private area and saw how Maria was already training her Pokemon in the training area. Maria looked at Alex and walked over to him with a smile. She waits until Alex has taken off his Ditto mask and gives him a long kiss that Alex answers immediately. When Alex's hands begin to move more and more down, Maria breaks the kiss with a provocative expression. Without waiting for the words, she quickly went to a safe place from the training room and took the Pokemon incubate that was there with a smile. In this Pokemon incubate was a Pokemon egg, and judging by the color of a dragon Pokemon. Although you can't always tell the type of Pokemon egg by color, that's often the case. Alex saw this and said confusedly, why are you giving me an egg? Chapter 173. Maria looked at Alex with an annoyed expression when she said, an egg. If you knew what kind of egg that is, then you wouldn't say that. Alex looked at the Pokemon egg and said casually, I can tell it's probably a dragon-type Pokemon egg, but I don't understand the reason you're giving it to me. Maria looked at Alex for a moment and said, I already have a dragon-type Pokemon and I don't have enough money for a second one, so I'll give it to you. Alex just looked at Maria with a gentle smile when he heard this nonsense reason. Even if a dragon-type Pokemon costs more Pokemon food, and even if dragon-type items are the most expensive Pokemon-type items, it is no reason for Maria, who has enough money for 2 dragon-type Pokemon, not to keep this egg for herself. Even if Maria thinks she doesn't have enough money, she can still sell it. Dragon-type Pokemon species all have a very high average potential, and it is also generally a type that has almost only monsters as Pokemon species. The reason so few trainers have dragon-type Pokemon is not because of their strength or potential, but for 2 main reasons. Cost. Be it the Pokemon itself, the food, or the items that are supposed to improve the potential, everything that has to do with a dragon-type Pokemon is extremely expensive. The amount of money a dragon-type Pokemon swallow is not what a regular trainer can take. Even normal elite trainers don't want to sacrifice that amount of money for a Pokemon. The second reason is even more important to the average trainer. Very late reaching its full evolution. Almost all dragon-type species reach their final form very late. There are a few exceptions like Druddigon, but most of them have a poor strength and the disadvantage of having no evolution, and thus making it very difficult to increase its potential. In comparison, the strongest dragon-type species all have a high level of what they need to achieve in order to achieve their final form. Only a very good trainer with enough money can train a Pokemon to level 50 or even higher, which makes it so that these Pokemon species will never have a large number of trainers. But almost every dragon-type trainer is a monster, which man can clearly see from the many dragon-type gym leaders and Elite Four members. Alex looked at Maria and said coldly, I don't need it. Maria ignored Alex's cold words and showed a happy smile when she said, Hee, I understand what you are trying to do here, so save your words, I will give you this Pokemon and you will look thankful. Alex went before Maria kissed her and began to pull out an item that he actually wanted to use for himself. He gave Maria the Dragon Fang, with a smile when he saw her surprised expression. Maria's emotions were all mixed up that Alex gave her such a valuable item without saying a word. She felt Alex's love and trust, that was just more important to her than this item. This is too expensive. Alex looked at Maria with a smile when he said, Tell me where you got the Pokemon egg and we'll see which gift is expensive. He has the feeling that Maria wouldn't give him a bad Pokemon egg, so he is sure that Maria's gift is even very expensive. Maria looked at Alex and said, It's not the same. I found it on the island you gave me the map of. Alex, who heard this, said seriously, How did you get the egg? I hope not that you were so stupid you risked your life to steal this egg from 2 adult dragon-type Pokemon. On the island, there are many zones that are not explored, so it is not impossible to find a few dragon-type Pokemon, but dragon-type Pokemon can only lay eggs when they are in their final form, so it is extremely dangerous to steal a dragon egg. Maria doesn't say anything for a few seconds. Alex, who didn't hear an answer, understood what Maria was probably doing and started to get angry. Are you stupid? Why are you risking your life for a Pokemon egg? You don't even have a Pokemon that can teleport. Maria said quietly, I borrowed a Pokemon with teleport from Lisa. It's still risky and not worth it. Maria, who heard this, suddenly felt a little warm even when she says something else. You can't control what I'm doing. Alex looked at Maria and said, That has nothing to do with control and you know that too. I just hate the thought that you are so carelessly playing with your life. Please appreciate it more. Maria looked into Alex's eyes and felt that he wasn't lying to her. He would have preferred it if she hadn't taken this risk than having this Pokemon egg. Her eyes started to redden a bit and she had a few tears in her eyes. Alex hugged her and neither said anything for a few minutes. After Maria had calmed down a bit, she said quietly, I'll be more careful from now on. Then she looked at Alex and said, But then you have to stick to it too. Alex gave a gentle smile when he said, You don't know, but I fight in the wild like a coward who never takes a risk, so it makes little difference to me. Maria laughed softly and the mood began to get better again. Alex smiled and said in an indifferent tone, So what kind of Pokemon is in the egg? Maria showed a proud expression when she said, The parents were 2 Hydreigon, so what do you think? Alex showed a shocked expression. Wait. Hydreigon. In this world, Hydreigon only reaches its final form at level 64, which is what makes this dragon-type Pokemon the most unpopular of all dragon-type species. A Pokemon species that only reaches its final form from the champion level is almost unusable, and only a few trainers from each region can bring such a Pokemon to its final form. But Hydreigon has a great advantage over almost all other dragon-type species. Thanks to its extremely late evolutions, the species also has extremely good average potential. Many professors in this world explain that the Pokemon species must have a particularly good potential, or that most of the Dano never become a Zweilous or a Hydreigon if their potential is too bad. But even with an extremely high average potential, only 20% of all Dano manage to reach their final form. Even if this dragon species is protected by its parents after its birth until it becomes a Zweilous. This led to the fact that the Hydreigon species, even with an average potential of S rank, are extremely unpopular. Even with an S rank potential, it is almost impossible to train this Pokemon to level 64 in less than 20 years, and few trainers want to train one Pokemon that long. But that wasn't the reason Alex was surprised. The reason was that the parents of this egg have to be in their final form to be able to lay eggs at all, and that means that the parents of this egg are 2 champion-level Pokemon and both are of the same species. That would mean that both parents are very talented even for the ridiculously talented species of Hydreigon, and the chance that this child has good potential is ridiculously high. Alex looked in shock at the egg in the Pokemon Incubate. Chapter 274. Alex looked at Maria and said, This is way too valuable. Maria looked at Alex and said with a small smile, if I sell it I can only get the price for an S-rank Dano that is about as expensive as your present. Alex remembers how a shallow gold Dratini was sold for 100 million at the auction and showed a confused expression for a second. But when he thought about it, he understood why this Dano, which is very likely to have a gold or even a deep gold potential, is never worth half as much. For all trainers, the Dano and the Dratini are both born S-rank Pokemon in the one stage and therefore have no difference in terms of potential in the market value. But because Dano is the most unpopular dragon-type species, it cannot be compared in value to Dratini, and a price of 30 or 40 million is a good deal for an S-rank Dano. Maria didn't know how good the potential of Dano is, but because the two parents of this Pokemon are both of the Hydreigon species, she believed that there was a good chance that this Dano could reach the SS rank with tolerable investment. But she would rather use the money for her Gible, which would reach its final form faster, and she still needed money to get her Arbok up to the SS rank, which is not cheap. But Maria didn't want to sell this special Pokemon for this ridiculously low market price, so that in the end she decided to give it to Alex. She had the feeling that Alex, who already has 2 SS rank Pokemon, he has 3 but she only knows about 2, could use the potential of this Pokemon better than she could. Alex understood Maria's reason, but even if that is her reason for her action, it shows an incredible trust to give Alex such a valuable Pokemon. It costs about as much as a Dragon Fang, but Alex and Mara knew that it was not comparable and that Maria's gift was worth many times more than the Dragon Fang. Alex looked happy when he felt Maria's trust. Why are you so cute today? Maria just looked at Alex with a disgusting expression and said coldly, don't talk so disgustingly. Haha. Alex laughed and gave Maria a kiss, who showed an expression of disgust. He was really happy and thought about what he can give Maria to compensate her for this gift. His Dragon Fang was a good start, but he felt it was not enough. He thought of Arbok, who had the same born potential as Bastiodon, and suddenly knew what to give Maria as a present. Alex looked at Maria and said, I still have an appointment, so I have to go now. I'll see you tonight. Maria rolled her eyes and said, yes, of course. Makes sense. You came here for 5 minutes and now you have to go to an appointment. I don't see any problem with this logic. Haha, okay, you have me. But I won't let you stop me from buying you a present today. Maria said nothing for a few seconds. Then she said lightly, buy me something expensive. This time Alex started to roll his eyes when he said, is that reverse psychology? Do you think I don't understand what you're trying to do? Without saying another word, he left the room. Maria just looked at Alex's back and gave a gentle smile. Alex, who is teleported to Celadon City, went to his favorite place to buy Pokemon items. Even if it is a bit more expensive than in the Team Rocket shop, the stock is much larger and you don't have to wait long for someone to sell an item that you need. With enough money, you can often buy very rare items. Alex, who entered the building, saw a luxurious reception room with 2 beautiful women standing there. Together with the professional smile and the stylish suit, this reception room created a good atmosphere. One of the women recognized him and gave a particularly warm smile. Good afternoon, Mr. Stark, what can I do for you today? Alex ignored her slightly flirtatious smile and said, I want to talk to Jack. The beautiful woman showed a slightly disappointing expression and called Jack immediately. After the call she said with a smile, Mr. Stark, the manager is waiting for you in his office. Would you like me to take you there? Alex said in an indifferent tone, no is okay. I already know the way. He passed several bodyguards and corridors before he stood in front of Jack's office. With his member card, which he showed to the bodyguards, he was able to go through all areas that customers can enter without any problem and reached the door in front of Jack's office. In front of the door, there was also a bodyguard with a Pokemon, but he recognized Alex and already knew from Jack that Alex would come soon, so he hadn't stopped him. Bodyguard's Pokemon was a level 52 Primeape with deep silver potential, which all bodyguard's Pokemon he had seen was the highest level Pokemon. He walked into Jack's office and saw Jack greet him with a smile. Alex, my favorite customer. What can I do for you today? I need high-quality poison-type items. Oh, you're so straightforward, but that's what I like about you. Wait for a second, I'll give you a list of all poison-type items that meet your criteria. Alex gave a small smile when he heard Jack's words. Sound good. He and Jack have already done a lot of successful business and both profited greatly from one another. Alex looked at the items on the printed sheet of paper and chose those that were best in his opinion. 1.8 million. Mid-Elite Venomoth Corpse with S-rank potential. 2.5 million. Late Elite Muck Corpse with S-rank potential. 3 million. Late Elite Venusaur Corpse with S-rank potential. 7.5 million. Champion Level Tentacruel Corpse with S-rank potential. 8.5 million. 3 scales reinforced by an SS rank Arbicon the champion level with poison type energy. 27.5 million. Champion level Nidoking Corpse with SS rank potential. It's a shame that his MVP card only gives 10% on the sale of items, or he could save several million in this purchase. In the end, Alex paid 50.8 million Pokédollars for the items and only had 25,490,350 Pokédollars left. But he didn't show any unhappy expression that he had spent so much money. He is sure that Maria would be very enthusiastic if he gave her these items for her Arbic, and her Arbic thereby reached the SS rank. Alex had already considered a way so that Maria only use these items for her Arbic and not waste them on her other Pokémon. Maria already knew that the born potential of a Pokémon is very important and that only Gible and Arbok were born with an S-rank potential, so it is not difficult for Alex to convince Maria that only Gible and Arbok can reach SS rank. He already believed that Maria would make the right decision even without his stepping into it, but he just wanted to be on the safe side. Chapter 195. After Alex had spent more than 50 million on items and put them in his TRH device, Alex felt that he had a good present for Maria that was at least comparable to hers. He left the Celadon City Shopping Center with a smile as he made his way back to Team Rocket Base with the help of Gardevoir and Ditto. Next morning in Alex's room. Alex lay next to Maria when he woke up with a light head. He quietly left the bed and slowly began to make his way to the bathroom. After giving his present to Maria, he talks a lot with Maria about Pokémon potential. Although he quickly realized that it was relatively unnecessary when Maria said, "I know that only Arbok and Gible can reach the SS ranks." It was not a surprise because Maria already knew how important the born talent of a Pokémon is. Alex wanted to comfort her that her other Pokémon couldn't make it to this rank, but Maria showed a smile when she said, "Alex, that all my Pokémon are already on the S rank is lucky in itself, you don't need to cheer me up. If Arbok and Gible reach the SS rank, then that's a miracle for me." When he heard Maria's positive response, he really felt that his words of comfort were really inappropriate. If a normal trainer has an A-rank Pokémon, he treats it like a treasure, and if a normal elite trainer has an S-rank Pokémon, he would also treat it as a treasure, so that Maria only has Pokémon on the S rank is already one thing where most trainers can only look envious. Even not all gym leaders from Kanto have an SS rank Pokémon, so that his words are really unnecessary. As he thought more about this fact, he felt that Maria was really a good trainer even if he had a concern. When Maria told him how she had stolen an egg from 2 champion-level Pokémon, he felt that this was not the first time she had done something like this dangerous. Notably, that all her Pokémon are on the S rank is, in Alex's opinion, indirect evidence that she had earned a lot of money through such dangerous actions. The amount of money to bring so many Pokémon to S rank is not small, and especially the fact that Arbok has a deep gold potential shows that Maria had spent a lot of money on Arbok alone. Fortunately, Maria has already promised Alex to stop such risky actions. It is a dangerous game, and as soon as you are ready to play it more often, it can quickly go wrong. Alex and his Pokémon eat breakfast together in a calm mood. Due to lack of space, not all of Alex and Maria's Pokémon can have breakfast together in Alex's room, so that they have breakfast separately. Alex missed the large rooms of the expensive hotel that could make this possible, but of course, he wouldn't leave the base because of that. Maria and Alex already spend a lot of time in the large training room every day, so that a good breakfast hardly makes a difference. Alex noticed that most of his Pokémon are much more peaceful today than usual, but when he saw the glances from his Pokémon on the egg in the Pokémon incubate, he understood why everyone is so silent today. He smiled as he looked at the group of Pokémon. "You already know that Dragon-type eggs usually take longer to hatch, right?" Vulpix said out loud. But Sister Gardevoir said she felt like the egg was about to hatch. Alex showed a slightly curious expression when he said, Gardevoir, how do you know that? Although he can also feel the life energy from the egg, he cannot tell whether the Pokémon will soon hatch. Father, if you pay attention to the exact location and amount of life energy, you can guess that it won't be long before the Pokémon will hatch. Alex showed a confused expression when he heard this explanation. Is that too difficult for me? He could feel the life energy from the egg, but the location and the amount were very imprecise for him. It's like a visually impaired person looking without glasses. He knew it was there, but it's very vague to him. Gardevoir gave an encouraging smile as she said, No, Father, that's very easy. I've been able to do that since my birth. Alex twitches his eyes slightly when he heard that. He remembered how Ralts couldn't even stand straight after she was born, and now he heard something like that. He shook his head as he stopped comparing himself to a psychic-type Pokémon. When Alex started to enjoy his breakfast again, he heard a loud noise. He looked in the direction of loud noise and saw how the egg now had a hole. Alex got up and quickly walked to the egg. The other Pokémon also stopped eating and looked at the egg with an excited expression. He looked intently at the egg, and a few seconds felt like minutes or even hours. But suddenly he saw how slowly the egg was completely broken from inside, and a small Dano was visible for Alex and his Pokémon. It wasn't even half the size of a normal Dano, but Alex wasn't worried. He knew it would grow rapidly in its growing stage. Alex immediately tried to take it in his hand, which he succeeded, but not without the Dano chewing on his hand. He looked at Dano, who was chewing on his hand, and said, You are lucky that you are so cute. Dano looked at Alex when he heard his words, but only for a moment as he continued to chew on Alex's hand. Fortunately, the bodies of people in this world are much better, and Dano was just born, or Alex would never react to it so calmly. Dano had no teeth but an eagle-type mouth, so it is not really comfortable for Alex. Alex, who thought about how this Pokémon species also ate other Pokémon together with Pokémon Berry, felt that he should be more careful later when he wants to take Dano in his arms. Even if he felt that Dano was just playing, he didn't want to bet a piece of his hand on it. Dano suddenly stopped biting Alex's hand and started to cuddle Alex when it started to get too tired. Alex, who was sitting on a chair, saw this cute moment and started to show a slight smile. He suddenly felt that Dano had really only played and didn't mean anything bad when it started to chew on his hand. As if his curiosity couldn't take it any longer, he started to look at the information from Dano. Pokémon. Dano. LV. 1. Type. Dark Dragon. Ability. Hustle. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Move. Tackle unusable. Dragon Rage unusable. Innate Talent Crunch unusable. Innate Talent Earth Power unusable. Innate Talent Draco Meteor unusable. Chapter 276. Alex immediately suppressed his instinct to cheer out loud when he read the words, Deep Gold, to not wake Dano when he suppressed his excitement. He was hoping that this Pokémon had good potential because of his two talented parents and because of the ridiculously good average potential of this Pokémon species, but he still didn't think that Dano would have a Deep Gold potential. For Alex, this is only comparable to one Pokémon that he had seen so far, and that is Steven's Metagross, who was also born with a Deep Gold potential. According to Steven, Metagross was the Pokémon that by far needed the least resources of all his Pokémon to get on the SS rank. This statement proves for Alex that all of Steven's other Pokémon were born with a Born Gold potential and only Metagross was born with a Deep Gold potential, or Steven lied to Alex, which Alex did not believe. The fact that Alex now has a Pokémon that is comparable to Steven's Metagross when it reaches level 64 is incomprehensible for Alex. Alex remembers one thing when he thought, though a thing is a bit weird. He knew that the potential of the children almost always had a worse potential than the average born potential of the parents. Even if both parents of Dano were born with a Deep Gold potential, which is extremely unlikely, there is a high chance that Dano will only be born with a gold potential. This is a basic knowledge of all Pokémon trainers, but Alex suddenly noticed a detail that he hadn't really paid attention to before. In every book that he had read on this subject, words like, almost always, are used without being explained in detail. At first, he thought that it would be used because the exception confirms the rule, but now that he had seen the potential of Dano, he felt that there was more to it. As Alex thought more about it, he noticed that more and more gaps emerged when thinking about the basic knowledge he had learned. If on average the potential of the children is always worse or in rare cases is only equally good, why doesn't the potential of the species change after several generations? Shouldn't the potential of Pokemon get worse and worse after a few generations? Even if wild Pokemon have a lot of Pokemon as children and one or two with the same potential as their parents, it is not always those with the best potential that survive but those with good luck that survive. It should logically lead to the fact that after each generation the potential of the species always gets a bit worse. But Alex hadn't read anything about it and he knew that the number of high-level Pokemon was 50 years ago much smaller, so that it is impossible that the potential of Pokemon has gotten worse now. Apart from the fact that such information cannot be hidden for long, Alex felt that the knowledge he had learned is incomplete. It doesn't explain when almost always, Pokemon are born. What requirement, what probability, how you can recognize it, or other knowledge about these unusual Pokemon. Alex didn't believe that something like that happened extremely seldom, or a few exceptions couldn't hold up the full potential of a species. It has to happen relatively regularly or have certain prerequisites that can be met. He knew that it is not possible to find out something without precise experiments on this subject. Only Alex can see a clear difference between a Pokemon potential and doesn't have to work with such severe restrictions as A and S rank to separate the potential of a Pokemon. The difference between a born shallow silver Pokemon and a born deep silver Pokemon is huge but not visible to everyone else. But Alex doesn't think he's the only one who knew about these special Pokemon. There are many professors in this Pokemon world and Alex is not so naive to think that none of them noticed that there is such a large illogical gap in one of the most important topics of trainers. The theme of Pokemon potential is one of the most researched topics in the world, and that such a large piece of the puzzle is missing is extremely suspicious. The more Alex thought about this topic, the more he felt a cold shiver on his back. Alex couldn't help but laugh a little when he thought, haha, I'm starting to feel that I'm already starting to create a conspiracy theory. Even though Alex laughed, he felt he had discovered something very important. Although he didn't know exactly what to do with this knowledge, Alex stopped thinking about this strange topic and started looking at Dano with a smile. He knew no matter how it happened, he hit a jackpot today. Even if Dano is, unfortunately, not a Pokemon species that quickly becomes useful, is this probably still the best investment that Alex had seen in this world. In addition, Zweilous is not an extremely weak Pokemon species and is comparable to the final form of a few mediocre Pokemon species. Although level 50 sounds like a big jump, Alex knew that jumping from level 50 to level 64 is not even comparable to jumping from level 1 to level 50 in this world. Alex is not sure how long it will take, but he is sure that it will take years and not a few years. Even if it had the same potential as Metagross, Alex knew that his Dano had to endure a great disadvantage. Metagross, who had his full strength from level 45, is useful much faster, and it is also not to be forgotten that it is a shiny. Alex has found in a book that shiny Pokemon on average have a better potential of their species, but he couldn't find more about shiny Pokemon. He wasn't sure whether a shiny Pokemon has other advantages that one can hardly see, but he didn't believe that these advantages are worth the price for a shiny Pokemon. Alex stopped thinking about Metagross when he smiled and thought, when did I start comparing my Pokemon with such monsters? Chapter 277. 1 month later, Alex sits undisturbed while meditating as his Pokemon perform their daily exercises in the Team Rocket training room. The reason why he is alone in this training room, which is normally used by him and Maria together, is because Maria went back into the wilderness to train yesterday. Alex, who recently trained with his Pokemon in the wilderness for 4 weeks, did not want to train again in the wilderness after less than 1 week so that he does not follow Maria. He knew that his Pokemon sometimes needed a break and that a long training time in the wilderness could not necessarily have a positive effect on his Pokemon. He trained for 4 weeks in the mountain range where many elite Pokemon live and where he had a positive experience last time. But unfortunately, it was no longer comparable with the first 10 days, and his Pokemon no longer level as fast as in these 10 days, even if, in Alex's opinion, they still level very quickly. He didn't know if it was because his Pokemon got used to this place and therefore did not level up as quickly even if they were fighting against many high-level elite Pokemon, or there was another reason that he had not yet fully understood. Alex would like to know more about Pokemon levels, but unfortunately in this world knowledge is not free and hardly available for free. Especially when such knowledge is important and difficult to research. Most of the free or cheap knowledge is something you can easily find out for yourself or very general knowledge. He has knowledge from the games in his old world, but unfortunately, this is not transferable because in this world a Pokemon can also win a level without defeating Pokemon, and many factors depend on when and how fast a Pokemon levels up. But even if his Pokemon don't level up as fast as they did last time, the speed is extremely fast. When Alex looked regularly at his Pokemon, he suddenly saw Ditto go up a level while he trained like the other Pokemon. He showed a happy and encouraging expression that Ditto had finally gained a level. Alex also looked at the other Pokemon, but they didn't change compared to this morning. Pokemon. Crobat. LV. 48. Type. Poison, Flying. Abilities. Inner Focus. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Absorb. Supersonic. Astonish. Bite. Wing Attack. Confuse Ray E. Swift. Haze. Leech Life. Mean Look. Venoshock E. Air Slash. Innate Talent. Shadow Ball E. Innate Talent. Fly E. Innate Talent. Cross Poison E. TM Protect. TM Toxic E. TM Taunt E. TM Sludge Bomb. TM Facade. TM Roost. TM Substitute. TM Thief. TM Double Team. E. TM Aerial Ace. TM Torment. TM Thief. TM Steel Wing. TM Payback. TM X Scissor. TM Giga Impact. Pokemon. Scizor. LV. 48. Type. Bug, Steel. Abilities. Technician. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Leer. Quick Attack. Focus Energy E. Double Team. Feint. Fury Cutter. Wing Attack. Agility E. Slash. Razor Wind. Iron Defense. X Scissor E. Night Slash. Bullet Punch. Innate Talent. Roost E. Innate Talent. Metal Claw E. Innate Talent. Brick Break E. TM Protect. TM Swords Dance E. TM Toxic. TM Thief. TM Facade. TM Giga Impact. TM U-Turn. TM Sandstorm E. TM Substitute. TM Safeguard. TM Light Screen. TM Return. TM Aerial Ace. TM Acrobatics. Pokemon. Gardevoir. LV. 48. Type. Psychic, Fairy. Abilities. Telepathy, Hidden Ability. Gender. Female. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Growl. Confusion. Double Team. Teleport E. Disarming Voice. Lucky Chant. Magical Leaf. Heal Pulse. Draining Kiss. Psychic E. Imprison. Future Sight. Captivate. Innate Talent. Disable E. Innate Talent. Calm Mind E. Innate Talent. Dazzling Gleam E. TM Protect. TM Shadow Ball. TM Will-O-Wisp. TM Thunderbolt. TM Thunder Wave. TM Helping Hand. TM Focus Blast E. TM Reflect E. TM Light Screen. TM Safeguard. TM Charm. TM Icy Wind. TM Hyper Beam E. TM Guard Swap. TM Mystical Fire. TM Psych Up. Pokemon. Ditto. LV. 46. Type. Normal. Abilities. Imposter, Hidden Ability. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Innate Talent. Transform E. Pokemon. Bastiodon. LV. 47. Type. Rock, Steel. Abilities. Sturdy. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Diamond. Moves. Protect. Tackle. Metal Sound. Take Down. Iron Defense. Swagger. Ancient Power. Block. Endure. Sleep Talk E. Perfect Talent. Rock Polish E. Perfect Talent. Flamethrower E. TM Taunt E. TM Rock Slide E. TM Rest E. TM Earthquake. TM Flash Cannon. TM Substitute. TM Bulldoze. TM Roar. TM Toxic E. TM Ice Beam. TM Thunderbolt. TM Double Team. Pokemon. Blaziken. LV. 46. Type. Fire, Fighting. Abilities. Speed Boost, Hidden Ability. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Diamond. Moves. Growl. Scratch. Ember. Sand Attack. Peck. Double Kick. Flame Charge. Quick Attack. Bulk Up. Blaze Kick. Focus Energy. Sunny Day E. High Jump Kick. Slash. Perfect Talent Attract M. Perfect Talent Overheat M. TM Protect. TM Flamethrower ETM Rock Slide. TM Will-O-Wisp ETM Poison Jab. TM Solar Beam. TM Dig. TM Facade. TM Helping Hand. TM Brick Break. TM Acrobatics. TM Shadow Claw. TM Low Sweep. TM U-Turn. TM Swift Dash. Pokemon. Umbreon. LV. 47. Type. Dark. Ability. Synchronize. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Diamond. Moves. Growl. Tackle. Tail Whip. Quick Attack. Double Kick. Sand Attack. Bite. Swift. Takedown. Double Edge E. Helping Hand. Charm. Baton Pass. Work Up E. Pursuit. Moonlight. Mean Look. Last Resort. Guard Swap. Perfect Talent Rest E. Perfect Talent Sleep Talk E. TM Toxic. TM Shadow Ball. TM Facade E. TM Protect. TM Attract. TM Psychic. TM Substitute. TM Snarl. TM Payback E. TM Psych Up. TM Return. TM Taunt. TM Hyper Beam. Dash. Pokemon. Alolan Vulpix. LV. 37. Type. Ice. Ability. Snow Cloak. Gender. Female. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Powder Snow. Tail Whip. Roar. Baby Doll Eyes. Ice Shard. Confuse Ray. Icy Wind. Payback. Mist. Faint Attack. Aurora Beam. Extrasensory E. Safeguard. Ice Beam. Innate Talent Hex E. Innate Talent Howl E. Innate Talent Blizzard E. TM Protect. TM Hail E. TM Return. TM Double Team. TM Facade. TM Substitute. TM Payback. TM Psych Up. TM Toxic. Dash. Pokemon. Shuppet. LV. 37. Type. Ghost. Abilities. Cursed Body Hidden Ability. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Knock Off. Screech. Nightshade. Spite. Shadow Sneak. Will-O-Wisp. Faint Attack. Hex. Shadow Ball. Embargo. Innate Talent Curse E. Innate Talent Phantom Force E. Innate Talent Destiny Bond E. TM Protect. TM Calm Mind. TM Toxic E. TM Taunt E. TM Thunderbolt. TM Psychic. TM Payback. TM Thunder Wave. TM Dazzling Gleam. TM Substitute. Dash. Pokemon. Dano. LV. 17. Type. Dark Dragon. Ability. Hustle. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Tackle. Dragon Rage. Focus Energy. Bite. Headbutt. Dragon Breath. Innate Talent Crunch E. Innate Talent Earth Power. Innate Talent Draco Meteor E. TM Protect. Dash. Moves that improved in Moves Mastery. Crobat. Confuse Ray and Double Team. Scizor. X-Scissor and Sandstorm. Gardevoir. Reflect and Hyper Beam. Bastiodon. Toxic. Blaziken. Attract. Umbreon. None but trained Rest and Sleep Talk together. Vulpix. Extrasensory. Shuppet. Toxic. Dano. Crunch and Draco Meteor. Dash. Current moves in training. Crobat. Roost. Scizor. Aerial Ace. Gardevoir. Draining Kiss. Ditto. Transform. Bastiodon. Rock Polish. Blaziken. High Jump Kick. Umbreon. Rest and Sleep Talk. Vulpix. Double Team. Shuppet. Knock Off. Dano. Earth Power. Dash. Learned new moves. Crobat. Air Slash. Vulpix. Ice Beam. Dano. Focus Energy. Bite. Headbutt. Dragon Breath. Dash. He noticed that month that Ditto started to level again much slower than the rest of the Pokemon at similar levels. For example, it took Crobat, Scizor, and Gardevoir just a little more than 20 days to level up even though they are at a much higher level. Apart from the fact that it should be much harder to make a level on level 47 than on level 45. But Ditto still needs this longer than these three Pokemon, and it was almost 10 days longer, which is not a good sign for Alex. He felt that Ditto would start getting slower and slower to level up if he didn't improve his potential. Alex knew it was going to happen sooner or later, but he wasn't really worried about it. The level speed was still okay and very good compared to other elite trainers. In addition, he will get a matching full-blood legendary Pokemon item for Ditto anyway if he was strong enough. If it were up to him he would immediately look for it, but from the information he had from full-blood legendary Pokemon, he knew that it is suicide to look for such a Pokemon now. He didn't want to bet his life on the goodwill of a Pokemon he didn't know or understand. Alex also noticed a few things during this month from the other Pokemon. First, Crobat, Scizor, and Gardevoir took longer and longer to reach a level after crossing the 45-level line. Even in an extremely good training area with lots of wild elite Pokemon for 4 weeks, they were only able to complete one level after more than 20 days. Although one level up in this period is no longer comparable to the times before the elite level, Alex was still very satisfied. Bastiodon, who was now level 47, had made a level on the first day of the 4 weeks in the wildness, so that Alex counts his 2 level ups rather as 1 level up. Likewise as Umbreon at the beginning of the second week, in which wildness 1 level advanced, and Alex had the feeling that she will rise again soon. Alex also noticed that Vulpix and Shuppet started leveling more slowly, even though they fought a lot in the wild against Pokemon that were always a level or 2 higher than their level. But now that Alex's Pokemon has barely made 1 level after a month, he felt that the level 35 to level 40 line is not that bad. If you can do 5 levels in less than 2 months, Alex felt that it was still very fast. The Pokemon that had seen the most change was Dano, who is now slowly gaining combat experience. Even after Dano had reached level 5 after 8 days, Alex did not let him fight immediately but did light training with him first. As with all other young Pokemon, Alex slowed down the training time and didn't care about level efficiency, but about that Dano understands why he needs this and to get him used to fight and training without him become overloaded. He has had a good experience with this approach with Blaziken, Gardevoir, and other Pokemon, so that he wants to do it the same way with Dano. Also, Alex doesn't want to overwhelm Dano so that training and fighting will be seen in a negative light to him. Chapter 278. During this month Alex spent 4 weeks in the mountain chains and caught many valuable items and Pokemon that he could sell for good money. Especially the number of S-rank Pokemon he met this week were not small, even if most of them are above the elite level. But he still managed to catch a shallow gold golem at level 35 and was able to collect several S-rank Pokemon corpses. Although he had killed a lot of Pokemon, Alex didn't feel sorry for the Pokemon that attacked him. He also found several moonstones of various rarities and other useful items that he could sell for a good price. Even if he couldn't find anything as valuable as the diamonds in the cave, he made a good amount of money. In those 4 weeks, he made almost 40 million, which was an extremely good sum even if the sale of the shallow gold golem under the elite level alone had made 12 million. But even if this area is very worthwhile, it wasn't safe to be in this place, and Alex experienced a situation that was very dangerous. In a fight against a level 52 Pokemon that his Pokemon had fought as a group, suddenly a level 54 Pokemon came from the air, and because Gardevoir and Crobat were fighting they could not immediately recognize that these Pokemon were approaching them before it was too late. This level 54 Fearow was extremely high in the air and took a dive on the group when they just spotted him. But because of its extremely high speed, it only took a little more than 2 seconds to gain more than 400 meters of distance. Fearow used Fly and tried to hit Blaziken, who was still fighting with the other Pokemon. However, Scizor quickly recognized the situation and managed to protect Blaziken with a Protect, even if the shield did not endure all the damage and he received most of the damage. Because of the sudden appearance of another extremely strong elite Pokemon, the whole situation is a bit out of control. Especially when the level 52 Pokemon used the opportunity to hit Scizor with a move after he had already lost more than 50% of his HP. Even with all the buff, Scizor was instantly knocked unconscious and lay there consciously in the middle of 2 enemies. If at that moment one of these Pokemon had enough time to move or even use their claws or teeth to use against Scizor, then it could be that Scizor would not be seen the next day. With the life energy used up and without a chance to defend himself, Scizor was just a bit of tough meat for the 2 Pokemon. Fortunately, Alex's Pokemon reacted very quickly and Gardevoir quickly ran to Scizor to teleport him to safety while all other Pokemon attacked the 2 elite Pokemon without fear. In addition, even sent Alex's Bastiodon to the battlefield to give Gardevoir more distraction and to tank the attack from the new enemy. Alex was relatively defenseless after Bastiodon was no longer there, but he knew that there were no other Pokemon around and he did not believe that it is so unfortunate that an elite Pokemon will now appear in a short time with a similarly ridiculous speed as Firo. He'd rather take this ridiculously small chance than to not make this dangerous fight safe for his Pokémon. Teleport Gardevoir together with Scizor in front of Alex, and Alex immediately started healing Scizor when Gardevoir went back to the battlefield. Teleport is very useful but not usable in such a chaotic fight as a way back for all his Pokémon. Fortunately, the level 52 Pokémon was already very injured and Alex's Pokémon were buffed so that they could defeat it quickly. But during this time the level 54 Pokémon could do a lot of damage to Alex's group, and Alex's Pokémon have prepared for an extremely tough fight. Firo must have felt the danger too, and he stopped preparing moves when he flew back into the air, and as if all of Alex's Pokémon had the same thoughts, they stopped attacking Firo. Although this Pokémon almost caused the death of one of them, each of them understood that if they keep fighting it can happen quickly that one of them really dies, if not more than one. Both sides just looked at each other for a few seconds before Firo decided to fly away. But even though Alex and his Pokémon had an extremely dangerous experience, no one Pokémon had any concerns about continuing to train in this area. Especially Alex remembers how he was attacked by extremely strong Pidgeotto at that time in the Viridian Forest and only barely survived. He knew that as a trainer, especially in the wild, it is an occupation that can quickly cost your life and the life of your Pokémon. Alex even felt a relief that he had seen that his Pokémon could react perfectly to such a situation and that this experience could be gained without a sacrifice. Dano, who has already reached a height of almost 1 meter, finished his training and began to watch Umbreon as she trained. Umbreon saw how Dano came near her and watched her silently as she trained, showing a small smile. She felt that her new young brother was really cute. The two were really almost inseparable, thought Alex when he saw this scene. After Dano was born he spent a lot of time with Alex and recognized him as his father, even if Alex didn't understand why this was happening. He had a suspicion that it had something to do with the bite, or that other Pokémon called him that, but he wasn't sure if that was really the reason. But Alex wasn't the person Dano wanted to spend the most time with, even when Alex was in second place. Umbreon was the Pokémon that Dano talked to the most, or even wanted to play. Alex had the feeling that the reason that both Dark-type Pokémon had played a role why this happened, but he didn't feel that it was the only reason. But because of this popularity, Umbreon was also the Pokémon that was bitten by Dano the most, even if, according to her own statement, she said that she hardly felt it. In addition, in Alex's group, each Pokémon was bitten by Dano at least once. Even with Crobat or Scizor, Dano went without fear to them, as when he didn't recognize the danger of biting a mean-looking elite Pokémon. Crobat and Scizor reacted very calmly and even let Dano chew on them. In comparison, Alex noticed that after each day the bite from Dano got a bit stronger and stronger, and the bite started to get a bit painful. At the end of the 7th day, Alex even had several bite marks on his body. He suddenly felt that not even Lars had as many bite marks on his body as he did. Fortunately, Dano stopped biting Alex and other Pokémon after he left his baby period and reached level 5. Alex was extremely happy that the Pokémon luckily didn't stay that long in this period and that the problem had resolved itself. After watching Dano a bit, he opened his TRH device and saw that it was time to slowly stop. Alex had an appointment with a gym leader 3 days ago, and in an hour his fight will start. He got up and said with a smile, "Okay, enough for today. Rest for half an hour and prepare for a tough fight." Alex knew that the fight against this gym leader shouldn't be as easy as with the other two. Chapter 279. Vermilion City. Alex walked slowly with his Gardevoir next to him, to the streets of the city as he thought about which Pokémon are best against this gym leader. The gym leader Alex is thinking about is Lieutenant Surge, who, in his opinion, should not be easy to defeat like the other 3 gym leaders. Compared to the other 3 gym leaders Alex had already fought against, Lieutenant Surge is much stronger and shouldn't be underestimated. Alex, who had been in this world for over a year, knew a lot about the Kanto gym leaders, who in Kanto are similar to celebrities and political figures rolled into one. Lt. Surge at this point at a time is rated as much as Koga and Sabrina by most trainers. The second strongest gym leader from Kanto is Blaine, who reportedly has a half-blood Moltres and even a good relationship with the legendary full-blood Pokémon Moltres. Giovanni didn't have a legendary Pokémon and his full strength is not understood by anyone, but his title as strongest gym leader was unbreakable. The main reason why Giovanni is in the first place, even if no one knows his full strength, is that Giovanni had never even lost an S-ranked gym badge fight as a gym leader, and that although he had not used his full strength. Even Blaine didn't have such a perfect record. Although the top 2 strongest gym leaders in Kanto are clear for most trainers, it is not so unanimous for places 3 to 5. Erika also has a lot of fans, and there are always some extreme fans who say that she is the strongest, but even most of the fans admit that Lieutenant Surge, Koga, and Sabrina are currently a lot stronger, even if they say that Erika had better potential than at least Lieutenant Surge. LT. Surge, Koga, and Sabrina are at a similar level at this point, and generally at a very similar strength level, even though most of the trainers are ranking Lieutenant Surge as the weakest of the 3 in official fighting. Of the 3 gym leaders' main teams, 6 Pokemon, Koga's team is the one with the highest average level, and Sabrina had the ability to help her Pokemon with her psychic powers. In official fights, you can use psychic powers as long as you don't influence your opponent or his Pokemon. Because of this, she can use her abnormal psychic powers to strengthen her Pokemon or give her Pokemon telepathically commands. Compared to these 2 monsters, the average level from Lieutenant Surge's Pokemon are the weakest, and Lieutenant Surge also had no special skills to compensate for this disadvantage. But he was still viewed on a very similar level as Koga and Sabrina by most because he had a specialty that the other 2 did not have. LT. Surge was the trainer with the most elite level Pokemon, and reportedly there are more than 40 plus elite level Pokemon under him. In addition, more than half of his elite Pokemon are on the mid and high elite level. That's why many say the Lieutenant Surge in a fight without rules, his Pokemon are much stronger than those of Koga or Sabrina. Although this is only strength in terms of Pokemon, and in a fight without rules it can well happen that Koga or Sabrina win against Lieutenant Surge. Sabrina's psychic powers or the deadly sneak attacks of Koga are not something that can be easily defeated with a number of strong Pokemon. But because of these strengths and weaknesses of the 3, most trainers or even the normal population disagree about who is the strongest of the 3. For Alex, who is from another world, this is no question. Although in this world, not all things work like in the game, anime, or manga, there were a few things where Alex is very sure. In terms of gym leaders and Elite 4 members, this world has not yet had any major deviations from the games he had played, so that he is sure that Koga is the strongest of the 3. Only Koga managed to become an Elite 4 member of the 3. Although Sabrina probably has the strength to become an Elite 4 member in the future like Koga, Alex doesn't know for sure. He can imagine that with Sabrina's talent and strength for her young age she can still be stronger than Koga in the future, and only likes the gym leader position and therefore does not become an Elite 4 member, but that is not to say with certainty. In comparison, Lieutenant Surge is the oldest trainer and is even overtaken by Erika in the game and, according to Alex's assessment, is the weakest of the 3 in terms of future prospects. But that is only in comparison to these 2 monsters, and under no circumstances is Lieutenant Surge a trainer who can be underestimated. Even if all of Alex's Pokemon are at level 59, he didn't think he could win against Lieutenant Surge and his army of elite Pokemon. Even though Lieutenant Surge doesn't have a champion level Pokemon, he is extremely strong, and even a trainer with a weak champion level Pokemon, level 60 or 61, wouldn't dare to be arrogant towards Lieutenant Surge. Alex feels that Lieutenant Surge is only strong if you don't have a Pokemon that has the strength to defeat all of his mid and late elite level Pokemon with a hit or 2. But the number of trainers who meet this requirement is very small, so Lieutenant Surge is really a ridiculously strong trainer. Alex, who knew all this, had great expectations for this fight, and he hoped that his Pokemon could gain important experience. A young man suddenly came up in front of Alex as he was making his way to the Vermilion City gym, and he said with a smile, "Are you, Alex?" Alex suppressed his urge to roll his eyes when he said with a fake smile, "Yeah, do you want an autograph?" Although Alex was already well known in Kanto, he became even more famous after his fight with Brock and Erika. He started to meet more and more fans who want an autograph or want to start a conversation with him. Alex, who had a rise in fame, did not feel happiness but sadness that more idiots were annoying when he walked through a city without a mask. The young man didn't stop smiling when he said, "No, I came to challenge you to a Pokemon battle." Alex, who heard this, almost showed an annoyed expression, when he calmly said, "I don't have time." I have an appointment in 10 minutes. The young man shows a sad but understandable expression as he watches Alex leave. Although Alex's face hardly changed in this exchange, he thought completely differently. Fuck, is that annoying and all because of this bastard who filmed my fight with this weak Radicate trainer. After his ridiculously easy fight with a person who challenged him in front of everyone and after the fight was filmed by a person and published online, Alex realized that he was being challenged more and more by trainers. The problem was that all of these trainers are extremely weak and that Alex doesn't want to waste time with these people. Chapter 280. Alex, who was approaching a large built chain near the port, could slowly smell the fresh sea air as he walked through the streets of this city. Vermilion City has a very large port and several ships that leave here every day, but compared to other port cities in Alex's world, it is a very small port city. Alex came slowly to the front of the Vermilion City gym, which, compared to the other gyms, had a large steel door with a camera as an entrance. Although this gym also looked nice with the lightning bolts on the building, the gym didn't look as nice for Alex's other gyms, not that it was really important to him. He went to the door and before he could push the button on the door began to open and Alex could see into this large building. As soon as he entered the building he saw Lieutenant Serge was already standing in an arena with a serious expression and talking to a trainee. Lt. Serge had a military-looking suit in almost all green and a belt with several Pokeballs on it. He looked like a high-ranking person in the army. Alex knew that Lieutenant Serge belonged to Team Rocket and that he shouldn't actually know this. Although Lieutenant Serge very likely knows that Alex is part of Team Rocket, he can't bring up this topic. He'll pretend he doesn't know anything. Lt. Serge looked in the direction of Alex and said with a small smile, "So you're the kid that everyone calls a monster. I'm happy to finally meet you in person." After Alex defeated 2 gym leaders without losing a Pokemon, many called Alex a monster. He gave a small smile. "Honestly, not many people call me that." Lt. Serge looked at Alex with his cold eyes. He looked at Alex for a few seconds while he said, "I have very high hopes for this fight." Alex looked at the eyes of Lieutenant Serge and only saw extremely cold eyes that betrayed no emotions. He even felt some kind of pressure from this glance that he cannot fully explain. Alex felt as if he was facing an extremely aggressive Pokemon that can barely suppress his instincts to attack him. But even if Alex has a new respect for Lieutenant Serge, he did not show it and kept a small smile without panicking. He was not a trainer who had never killed or was almost killed himself, so that such a cold pressure cannot paralyze him or make him anxious. Alex stopped smiling when he said, "Do you want to start?" Lt. Serge started to laugh slightly when he acknowledged the words from Alex. "Haha, you remind me of a young me, but let's stop talking and get started. We're going to fight in a 3 vs 3 format. Tell me the average level of the 3 Pokemon so we can start." Alex didn't show a surprised expression that Lieutenant Serge had enough elite Pokemon to choose a 3 vs 3 format and smile relaxingly. He has already decided in advance which Pokemon he will select for all 3 formats so that he does not have to think about it. Alex called that level 47 and Lieutenant Serge's team could now only use a Pokemon team with no higher average level than 48. 1 level difference is the average level in the teams is allowed to make it easier for the gym leaders to have the matching Pokemon for the challenge. For example, if a Lieutenant Serge's team has an average level of 47.5, he can still use it even if his team average level is not exactly 47. Alex noticed how cameras were brought around the whole arena and that this fight was broadcast again with a relaxed expression. He's got used to the cameras a bit, even if it still felt weird to him. After 30 minutes, Alex and Lieutenant Serge are in the arena together with the referee. The referee gave a sign and both trainers started to get their first Pokemon out of their Pokeballs. A Scizor and an Electrode appeared almost simultaneously in the arena. Pokemon. Electrode. LV. 47. Type. Electric. Abilities. Soundproof. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Deep Silver. Moves. Charge. Tackle. Sonic Boom, Eerie Impulse, Spark, Rollout E, Screech, Thunderbolt E, Charge Beam, Swift, Electro Ball, Self-Destruct, Light Screen, Magnet Rise, Discharge. Innate Talent, Explosion M. TM, Protect, TM, Facade. Alex, who saw the level and a special move on the Master rank even though the potential of Electrode is not on the S rank, was a bit surprised. He would really like to know how long Lieutenant Surge needs to train this Pokemon to level 46 and how exactly he trained the move Explosion to get it to the Master rank. 3, 2, 1, go. LT. Surge calmly said. C3, when Alex said nothing. Electrode immediately started preparing a move as it rolled towards Scizor. Scizor started to prepare his move first without any order from Alex because he already knew what to do, but he wasn't much faster than Electrode, who started just a little later. Well, that was to be expected from a person in the military. Alex thought when he saw Lieutenant Surge using codewords to give his Pokemon faster commands without his opponent understanding them. Scizor finished a bit faster and he used the move Sword Dance like Alex had told him to do before the fight. Electrode, who was now only 5 meters away from Scizor, also finished and used the move Rollout against Scizor, who could not avoid it. LT. Surge looked coldly in the direction of Alex when he said, "Do you think that the same trick will work here?" Alex heard the words but don't waste time answering him. He wasn't going to fall for a trick he'd used on Misty himself. He said quickly, "Scizor, we're changing the plan." Scizor, who heard this, had already prepared a move and he had to cancel it in order to be able to use the serious move from the other plan. Alex knew it wasn't optimal, but he couldn't wait any longer. Alex didn't have only one plan, and this replacement plan was started with these exact words by Alex, which Scizor understood immediately. Electrode finished the rollout for the second time and it also hit Scizor this time. Alex knew of course how the move Rollout works in this world and the dangers of this move. Although Rollout did not do the same abnormal damage as in the games and had a few restrictions, this move was still very strong in this world and even better than in the games. Fortunately, Alex knows that this move has to hit a Pokemon or creature or this move will be cancelled, so that he stayed calm when he saw it. Scizor finished his move and a stream of sand began to spread around the arena.